Well, good evening, all you cyclists out there. I think I found the best hand pump for traveling mini pump in the world. And of course, it's made in Germany. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing, everybody, is a presentation and review, a long-term review of the the LENZY, or however you pronounce this, LEZYNE micro floor drive digital HPG pump. Now, this is a company that is based out of Germany, and they make some beautiful cycling products. They make all types of pumps and tools for cycling. So think about like a German BMW. They've pretty much applied the entire simple yet beautiful technical philosophy to bike pumps. And that's the reason why I kind of bought this. I was always seeing this at REI, various types of pumps by the company, and I decided to pick one up. I believe it was right around 6 or 7 years ago. So I'm going to take you through the history of why I decided on this pump. This is my second pump, and the various types of hoses that you can buy with this. So, for example, right now, this is called the Digital HPG pump, and this retails for $84.99 regularly. This pump with no digital drive on there is $49.95, and this is the one that you get. This is actually my original one, and it's still in great shape. I mean, I've traveled with this all across the country. As far as a portable pump, it is the best one that they have. They have a different one too. It's a little bit bigger. I have that. I have not used it, but I decided to grab this before I left on my trip. So, and then let me quickly go over the second one that you can get. This one is a spring-loaded one, and this is the one that's failed me countless times. I thought it was accurate in the beginning after going over several different things, and I finally got a digital pump, and I put this up against the digital pump, and it was always consistently off anywhere from 5 to more like 10 pounds, and I really wasn't too happy with that. So what I did is I actually contacted the company, and they sent me out another one, a brand new one, which is right over here. It's still in the packaging, but I did try it out, and it wasn't too accurate. It was, again, off by anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. I thought maybe the spring was going after a couple of years, or maybe the seals on here, and I'll kind of go over the seals in a second. Now, after that, I contacted them again, and I go, so hey, I said, can you send me the HPG pump, which is this one over here, and then this is their digital pump. In the meantime, I bought the Toe Peak, and this thing is fantastic. Compared to this, if this is saying 60, this is saying anywhere from 56 to right around 60. So it's consistently off anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds. I would put it more towards 2 pounds. So the pump in general, it's not that big of a pump. You can throw this into any bag. You can throw this into your backpack. They also have a mountain bike version of this too, which goes up to 60 pounds. It's actually bigger. It's the same size, but just thicker. This thing will pump up to 160 PSI. And I used to be able to pump all night in order to get my tires pumped up, because I used to pump right around the 160. I'm sorry, the 120. So what I've gauged this over the years is every 15 to 20 pumps, that's full pumps now, and I'll take this off in a second, is right around 10 pounds of PSI. So that's how I kind of gauge that. So if you want to travel with it like this, this hose is right around 2 feet long. Everything is completely adjustable, and you can take everything off. So it actually threads into here. These threads tend to go after a couple years, and I think the reason why is this thing gets banged around so much. So for example, this is my original one that I had on my original pump. Never got rid of it. You can see how much it's kind of oxidized over the years, but these threads just kind of tend to get hit, and that's the reason why I don't think it was threading back into there. Let me put this to the side real quick. So this whole pump you can pretty much take apart. Over here is if you want to replace the pump. Just take this off right over here, and you just take it off, and that's pretty simple. And then this is the actual digital drive part of it. Now, when they first sent this to me, I thought they sent me a low battery, and then all of a sudden the battery was fine. So it says bar, or it says PSI. So what I've noticed about this is even when you stop pumping, you still lose a little bit of air. So it kept on going up and down and up and down. It really wasn't too consistent. But when I stopped pumping and I looked at the gauge here, as far as the PSI, it was always between 2 and 4 PSI off, pounds per square inch, over here. So that's how I kind of gauged it. So if checked my tires first and they were 55 over here, I'd maybe do 20 pumps, and I typically ride right around 65. That is currently in a Trek Madone SLR9 with ETAP and Envy 4.5 tubeless rims. Little battery over there. This thing is going to be indestructible, highly waterproof. I would not worry anything about breaking this at all. These are star screws, which is really smart, so you don't strip these out as far as the Allen wrench goes. So this comes off over here too. So one's for Presta and one's for the regular valve. Now, I wish this valve was different. Now, they don't have any different valves than the other ones too. I think every single pump that they have, no matter how high-end, big or small, it's still the same exact apparatus over here. Now, typically in the more traditional ones, you can have that little clasp that goes up and it goes down. It's just easier to take stuff off and put stuff on. This you physically have to screw in, take out, screw in, take out, which can be a pain, but it really depends on what you're doing. So, and this is, you can take this off over here too. Now, this is a little foot part over here. So typically what I'll do is I'll put either my knee on this or I'll just put my foot, and I do use both hands with this because once you get past like 60 or 70, it gets a little bit more of a challenge to pump. And I just kind of put my palm over here, up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, like I said, I've pretty much equated 20 pumps to right around 10 PSI. So with my original pump that I had, I'm going to show you what didn't break. It just fell off and I couldn't get it back. So there's a gasket right over here, and this is actually threading in and out. So this thing actually loosened up, and I basically tightened it up several times. And for some reason one day, and this thing actually is on crooked. Maybe that's the reason why. So let's see here. Hopefully I didn't strip this out. No, this is pretty much fine. That's just a thread. This is a pretty basic pump. This is about as basic as you can get for a pump. There's 2 gaskets. This has a little bit of oil on there. If this gets dry, all I did was either take my lube for my chain or maybe even some oil for cooking. That works too. And I would recommend keeping this thing lubed just in case. So I'm going to thread this back. Hopefully I don't strip it out. This might not have been put on correctly because this is going on a lot easier. So what happened to mine was this loosened up and it got stuck in the bottom over here. Now, occasionally I can get it to thread back, but at one day I was in Moab, Utah. This was, I think, last summer. I think it was last summer. And I just went to the local bike shop. They had one. We tried taking this apart. And for some reason, we can get this off. We can get this off. But we couldn't get the bottom part off. And for some reason, it just didn't work. So I ended up I think I threw the pump away. I was going to send it back to Lenzel, but I'm like, I don't want to pay shipping back and forth and blah, blah, blah. So I just bought the pump right there. So I think what I paid for this pump with this part on there was, I think it was like $59.99 or $50 or like $64. So if you want to buy this separately, this is $26.99 separately. And if you want to buy the HPG separately, this is $54.99. So what I might do is actually just sell this whole apparatus on eBay and get the black one because I really do like the black one better, and I'll probably end up selling off a couple of these parts. So you're probably wondering what this is for. This is actually for one of their other pumps, which I'll bring in a second. This is the micro drive hand pump for your actual bike. So this goes on over here onto your frame right by your water bottle. This clicks on. And then this is a really intelligent design. I actually end up using this more for my wires because I have 3 of them now, maybe even 4, since I bought a couple of pumps. I actually have a different pump by them, which is on my other bike, but I just wanted to have this match. So pretty much goes like this. And there's a reason why this is rubber, and you'll see in a second. Just like I said, a really intelligent design. You don't even notice this thing on the bike. I mean, I put it on the side that I don't photograph too often, which is the opposite side, and that's pretty much it. This is so this doesn't go back and forth inside the side. You could actually get this in carbon fiber too, and I think other colors. I'm not sure. Now, what I did do, since this one came off of my last pump, the same exact pump, this is a gasket that goes in over here. So when you're riding, you don't get this going back and forth because that's what was going to be happening in theory. So that's why it's so cracked up. So there's one side over here. These never fall off. I still have the original ones from my original pump. That's just so water and corrosion doesn't get in there. And then this is the other side over here. So you take this off like this. Just unthread it. Don't thread this too tight. There's no need to. You're not going to hear it rattling or anything like that. And this is the one side. So I think you could only do Presta with this. I don't think you can do the other one because you can't take this off. So when you actually do have to put this on your tire, which I did, never on tubeless, but on my other one, it's going to be a challenge. You kind of have to sit down, kind of put the rim at an angle, and get a good angle on this thing. So once you put this inside like this, hold on a second here. Once you put this together like this tightens up, but this won't physically move back and forth, so you're kind of static. So I would recommend putting this on first, making sure this is tight, and this is a little air thing over here so you can let some air out, which is really nice. Then you got the gasket over there. So when I would pump, I'd put my hand like this. I'd use my hand like this over here and on an angle, down. Now, the only downside to this pump, since it's so small, it's very compact. If you throw this into your bag, you're not even going to notice. If you put it on your bike, I mean, this is maybe, I don't know, 40, 50 grams, maybe 60 grams at best. This will take forever to pump up. Even if you want to get something as low as 50, I would say a minimum of 100 pumps. You're probably looking more towards 200 or 300 just to get something decent. You can say yes or no. I mean, the company might say something different. But half the time when I got to have flat tire on my old system, which was just tubes, if I had to actually pump this up, forget it. I felt like my arm was going to fall off half the time. Now, I did try CO2. The bad thing with CO2 is it's kind of a one-time deal. And then with putting tubes on, if the tube is actually pinched in between the rim and the tire, which can't happen because they're so tight, you're pretty much done and you basically going to be walking home. But it's been probably the most reliable pump I've ever used for on a bike when I was on non-tubeless tires. Now that I've been on tubeless tires for the last, I want to say 3 years now, I still have the original tube that sits in my back little pocket of my bike, and I've never used that tube. So that's the reason why this is still new, even though I've had the truck Madone now for a little over, I believe it's 1,000 miles. So let me kind of summarize everything real quick here. If you're going to buy this, I would recommend spending the money and getting the digital drive. Like I said, you can probably find it on sale for maybe like 75 or 80, $84.99 at the website. They are on Amazon and they are on eBay, and you kind of can get some deals. They do have them at REI. I believe you'd have to order this one from the website. So as far as the simplicity of the design, it's absolutely fantastic. If you're looking for a pump to throw into your bag, especially if you're doing a lot of traveling as a triathlete or even as a mountain biker, this does come in like that matte black finish. And then the mountain biking version, which is up to 60 pounds now, it's a lot thicker. So I'm thinking you're not going to have to pump up as much, and it looks like it might be a little bit more stable, but it's the same basic design. If anything needs to get replaced, you can buy this off the website. Honestly, I just would email the company and ask if you can warranty it out or get an RMA on there. And they are based out, I believe, out of Southern California. I've not replaced the battery yet on this, but this can be kind of finicky. So like I said, anywhere from 2 to 4 pounds off, and that's the reason why I still have my toe peak pump from that perspective. So again, this is the original hose that came with it, and this is the original hose from 7 years ago. You can just see the different types of oxidation in over the years. It's pretty much the same exact thing, and this thing still works great. So as far as the physical part of it, it might look a little tarnished, but it still works physically great at the end of the day. And then if you wanted to get this one, I would recommend not getting this one just due to the fact that the accuracy and This does tend to get some water in there. I don't know if it's accurate, but sometimes it would stick, sometimes it wouldn't. And like I said, this thing was consistently, I'm sorry, you guys are seeing that off screen. This was consistently off anywhere from 5 to 10 pounds. Is it a good gauge? That's up to you and your interpretation, but that's pretty much it. So hopefully you guys have kind of enjoyed the presentation here and going over some of the products. It's a great company. Their customer service is fantastic. They make beautifully aesthetic bike parts, and it works. I mean, I've used a lot of pumps. A lot of them are plastic. Even though this is a little bit heavier, I would still recommend going with stainless steel because it's going to last forever. Like I said, I've traveled with this thing all over the country. You guys have any questions, please let me know. Go ride, stay safe, go shoot, enjoy your time, and you guys have a good night. Bye-bye.